Have you ever been in a tense situation where you lost your cool and regretted how you reacted later? It happens to all of us at times. When tensions run high, it's difficult to think clearly and respond appropriately. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers practical techniques to handle stressful events with level-headed calm and composure. The Stoics understood that while we cannot always control external events, we have the power to control how we respond internally. As Marcus Aurelius stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So how can we tap into this inner power? In this video, we will delve into 3 important ways of managing your stress. Be strong and watch until the end. 1. Master your emotions through reason. The Stoics were firm believers that excessive or irrational emotions like anger, fear, and anxiety stem from incorrect judgments and ways of thinking. As Epictetus stated, people are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them. When stressful events occur, our instincts often lead us astray emotionally. To counter this tendency, the Stoics developed practices to carefully examine these events through reason, logic, and clear-headed analysis before reacting. By slowing down our thinking, taking a Socratic view of the situation, and defining key elements precisely, we begin to evaluate things more accurately and objectively. This restores reason and perspective. Irrational emotions then have less influence over us. For example, imagine your boss harshly criticizes work you put great effort into. The instinctive reaction might be anger or hurt feelings, but the Stoic approach is pausing to rationally assess: what precisely did the boss criticize and why? What aspects were and were not in my control? Are my emotional reactions fitting and constructive? Reflection often reveals the critic made some fair points we can learn from, or external factors at play. This moderates extreme feelings into more thoughtful recalibration. As Seneca described, the first thing which philosophy undertakes to give is fellow feeling with all men. In other words, sympathy and sociability. Its aim is to guide emotions like compassion over fickle reactions, preventing needless interpersonal friction. Directing our feelings wisely while managing destructive impulses is key for social harmony and leadership. 2. Shift your mindset about what's in your control. A major source of stress is the struggle against circumstances that are externally beyond our control. As Epictetus said, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not. It is only after you have faced up to this fundamental rule and learned to distinguish between what you can and can't control that inner tranquility and outer effectiveness become possible. Yet we often waste energy bitterly complaining about situations we cannot dictate. From bad weather to political leadership to a loved one's health. The Stoic approach is accepting the limits of our agency with grace while redirecting that effort towards self-mastery. This means focusing attention and action solely on what is within your power. Marcus Aurelius described it well. Do not disturb yourself by picturing your life as a whole. Do not assemble in your mind the many and varied troubles which have come to you in the past and will come again in the future, but ask yourself with regard to every present difficulty, what is there in this that is unbearable and beyond endurance? You would be ashamed to confess it, and then remind yourself that it is not the future or what has passed that afflicts you, but always the present, and the power of this is much diminished if you take it in isolation and call your mind to task if it thinks that it cannot stand up to it when taken on its own. In challenging situations, isolate each controllable element. focusing solely on your available choices and actions, one step at a time. Respond to trials by controlling your virtue, wisdom, and character, never counting on changing circumstances. Maintain this mindset shift consistently, rather than slipping into wishful thinking and avoidance. Training your mind to distinguish the changeable from the unchangeable will grant increasing command over your experience, no matter the conditions, empowering you with inner resilience and self-sufficiency. Redirecting your efforts this way is the first step toward reduced stress and greater tranquility. 3. Prepare for stress through visualization. The Stoics practiced an incredible exercise called premeditatio malorum, which translates to premeditation of evils, essentially visualizing future hardships and adversities vividly before they arrive. Why is this beneficial? As Seneca explains, remember that the power lies with us, not outside forces. We suffer due to our judgment of events, not the events themselves. By imagining potential stresses we may face in vivid sensory detail, we foresee hazardous areas of judgment. Equipped with this foresight, we can preempt destructive reactions, rehearse purposeful responses, and condition our minds for anything, building resilience for when adversity actually strikes. How do we do this? Set aside quiet time to picture future scenarios that could test your character, virtue, and tranquility, such as losing your job, suffering a serious illness, losing a loved one, etc. Imagine these events vividly in all sensory dimensions, evoking your instinctive emotional and behavioral reactions. How well or poorly do you respond under the distress of these scenarios? Dissect which reactions and judgments incite excessive anger, anxiety, sadness, or other destructive responses that disturb your equanimity. As Seneca says, by anticipating future events, we can diminish their power over us when they occur. We rob them of shock and emotional turmoil. Once you discern your emotional triggers, consciously rehearse exercising wisdom and self-control, regardless of conditions, demonstrating impervious mastery over your inner state. In this way, we do not cling to preferred outcomes or live in denial of misfortune's inevitability, but steel hardship's power to influence our judgment. When adversity actually arrives, you will meet it with a hardened, serene spirit. So, use the power of potent imagination to see in advance what challenges your well-being, and prepare carefully to remain master of yourself in all situations. True tranquility comes not from chance or complacency, but the conscious choice to build resilience. By picturing stressful scenarios we may face, we can rehearse staying calm and preempt destructive reactions, building resilience when challenges actually come. What aspects of Stoic philosophy have helped you keep your cool under stress? I welcome your comments and questions below. Until next time, stay wise, my friends.